Call the Township of Hamilton Committee meeting for Monday, July 17th to order. Could we stand for the flag salute, please? Rodney?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Rita?
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law by posting a notice of this meeting on the bulletin board in the municipal building and by publication in the Press of Atlantic City on January 9, 2017, and the Atlantic County Record on January 11, 2017. Mr. Gishard?
Present.
Mrs. Link?
Here.
Mr. Schenker?
Here.
Mr. Silva?
Here.
Mayor Kurtz?
Here. Could we ask for a moment of silence for private reflection, please? Next, we have a proclamation for National Night Out 2017. What I'd like to do is this proclamation is going to be presented at the mall, to the mall owners at the event on August 1st. But I thought I'd like to read it. This is something that we take pride in our township, and we give great respect and honor to our police department, who is the ones that actually put all the effort and work into this. It's a national event, but we have a lot to do with getting it put together here in the township, and our police department and our different parts of the township do a great job making this happen. Whereas the National Association of Town Watch is sponsoring a unique nationwide crime and drug and violence prevention program on August 1st, 2017, entitled National Night Out. And whereas the 34th Annual National Night Out provides a unique opportunity for the Township of Hamilton to join forces with thousands of other communities across the country in promoting cooperative police community crime prevention efforts. And whereas the Hamilton Mall plays a vital role in assisting the police department and emergency services through joint crime, drug, and violence prevention efforts in the Township of Hamilton, and it's supporting National Night Out locally. And whereas it is essential that all citizens of the township be aware of the importance of crime prevention programs that impact their participation and can have on reducing crime, drugs, and violence in the Township of Hamilton. And whereas police community partnerships, neighborhood safety, awareness, and cooperation are important themes of the National Night Out program. Now, therefore, the Township of Hamilton Committee do hereby call upon the citizens of the Township of Hamilton to join the Hamilton Mall, Public Safety Agencies, and the National Association of Town Watch in supporting the 34th Annual Night Out on August 1st, 2017. Furthermore, let it be resolved that the Township of Hamilton Committee does hereby proclaim Tuesday, August 1st, 2017 as National Night Out in the Township of Hamilton. This is a great event, and we certainly hope all of our citizens get out and are able to take part of it. Thank you for listening to that, and we'll make that presentation to the owners of the mall on the 1st. Addition and deletion of late items for action tonight, we have none. Early public comment on agenda items excluding those listed for public hearings. Mike?
I don't think there's any more.
No one? Okay, great. 3, discussions, formal actions may be taken. We have none. 4, award of bids, contract change orders. We have none. 5 was the consent agenda. There are no business registration licenses, so I'm looking for a motion to approve items B through O.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstain. Personnel. A, appointment to fill the unexpired 2-year term Historic Preservation Commission alternate number 1 vacancy position, term ending December 31st, 2017.
Name?
And the name for that is Jim Carrigan.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Rita?
Mr. Gishard?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Mr. Schenker?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
And Mayor Kurtz?
Yes.
All yes and carried.
B, resolution to appoint Michael Tatum as a full-time police officer, Step 7, at a salary of $73,281 per year, contingent upon successful completion of the background process.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Rita?
Mr. Gishard?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Mr. Schenker?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
And Mayor Kurtz?
Yes.
All yes and carried.
C, resolution to appoint Eric Thumhart as full-time police officer, Academy, at a salary of $39,535 per year, contingent upon the successful completion of the background process.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Rita?
Mr. Gishard?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Mr. Schenker?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
And Mayor Kurtz?
Yes.
All yes and carried.
D, resolution to appoint Eric DeMayo as full-time police officer, September 1st, at a salary of $42,812 per year, contingent upon successful completion of the background process.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Rita?
Mr. Gishard?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Mr. Schenker?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
And Mayor
Yeah,
Kurtz?
yeah.
All yes and carried.
E, resolution to appoint Andrea Sager as Alternative Cove Day Manager at $13 per hour, effective 7/18/17.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Rita?
Mr. Gishard?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Mr. Schenker?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
And Mayor Kurtz?
Yes.
All yes and carried.
F, resolution to appoint McKenna Labatista as Alternative Cove Day Manager at $13 per hour, effective 7/18/17.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Rita?
Mr. Gishard?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Mr. Schenker?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
And Mayor Kurtz?
Yes.
All yes and carried.
Number 7, approvals. Minutes of July 3rd, 2017, regular meeting.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain? Payrolls and bills. B, a bill list totaling $698,825.16.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Rita?
Mr. Gishard?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Mr. Schenker?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
And Mayor Kurtz?
Yes.
All yes and carried.
And we are down to reports. Administrator? Nothing, Michael. Solicitor?
This has absolutely nothing to do with my position as your solicitor,
That's what we
but
like
I would be
best.
remiss if I didn't tell you what a wonderful event the Dragon Boat races were. I'm going to estimate you had 2,500 people there. The parking lot was full. The security was perfect. Every race went off on time. It is an event that hopefully will come back to Mays Landing and Lake Lenape every year because it's such a perfect venue for it. It's one of the fastest growing activities in America. They plan to do something like 200 of these a year. They go up and down the coast. It was a terrific family event. I like hometown celebration. It was just a bunch of people that get out there and rode their hearts out, and it was absolutely successful, absolutely safe, and it raised a lot of money for a very good cause, Gilda's Club. So I was proud to sponsor a boat, and I actually rode in it myself. And it was really something very, very good for this town.
Wow.
Good to hear.
Very good.
Engineer, okay?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. One thing to add to my report that was submitted today marks 2 months to the day that the Homeowners Association for Thelma Heights, Danielle Court, indicated that they would apply for a waiver of putting fences around their wet basins, the basins that have standing water in them. This committee was proactive in authorizing us to pursue that installation of those fences when they was on the approved plan and not installed. As a result of that, that has not been accomplished yet, and I would suggest that, especially this season, we have unusual drownings occur. We're conscious about the standing water issue in relation to those tragedies. That if they are not authorize me to send them a letter indicating that if they don't have an application submitted by August 1st, that you would take action on their performance guarantee by having Mr. Sandman initiate that process. I would request the committee to do that, just to authorize me to pursue that with them.
I supported that. I was asked to give an informal opinion,
Right.
That's good.
and I gave my opinion to Mr. Dixon, and I support requiring them to put the fence there for the obvious reasons.
Makes sense.
They have the right to ask for a waiver of that fence by application before the planning board.
Right.
And in due process, of course, that's something that they would do. But they haven't pursued that now for 60 days. 2 months to the day since they had passed a resolution in their own homeowners association to pursue a waiver. Now, this application for a waiver for a fence takes all of 15 minutes to prepare. There's no plans, there's no surveys, there's no engineering. It's a request for a waiver. So there's no reason why they couldn't have had that application in 59 days ago. And I'm concerned this drowning that occurred in Galloway Township was a block from my home. It hits home, and it's, as I said, this township committee has already been proactive on this issue when they authorized me to pursue this fence in the first place. So I would suggest that it would be a good course of action to actually begin the process of acting on that performance guarantee if the developer doesn't act on its own obligations.
Bob, is this something we should
We
do
have
by
a-
motion or just suggest?
No, he's asking for your permission to take the next legal step. I would suggest that you need not take an official action.
Right.
But I would like you to do it anyway, because if it's in the form of a resolution, the next resolution is going to be directed to me.
Right.
So that would give Mr. Dixon the ability to say that you heard his comments here tonight and you took a formal action. So even though it's not necessary, I would suggest that you do it.
Okay.
Directing and allowing and directing our engineer to put them on notice that they have a very finite period of time to make the application. Now, once they make the application, we're going to look at it, because
Sure.
we may oppose it.
Right.
They had to make.
And we don't need to do that by resolution at the next meeting? We can do that just,
You could do that right now.
okay.
I'll make that resolution.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the motion for Kevin to proceed. Rita?
Mr. Gishard?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Mr. Schenker?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
And Mayor Kurtz?
Yes.
All yes and carried.
Thank you. That letter will go out tomorrow.
Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate that.
And that's all I had, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
I ask you a question, Kevin?
Sir.
I had occasion to walk along Malaga Road a few days ago, and I'll tell you what, it's a scary event. The
Indeed.
traffic, I know we talked about a speed limit of 40 miles an hour, but that traffic was moving down there. It seemed like above 60 in some places, and there's no shoulder. It's really, really scary. My question is, we agreed on 40 mile per hour. I understand the signs are up, but the
Striping.
striping is not, I understand it's being worked on, but do you have a status on that?
I do. They just mailed out the last piece of paper we need, which was the pay-to-play information today to finance. When finance gets that and it's approved, we will issue a letter of authorization to proceed. I expect it to be in the next couple days.
So would you say in a couple of weeks they have the striping?
I would estimate that's a reasonable time, yeah. If they get out there, it's not going to take them long to do that job. So I think within a couple weeks, they should be capable of getting it done
They probably
within
could
that
do
time
all
frame.
in one day.
Thank you.
And Kevin, we haven't had an update that I'm aware of from the county, or Mike, either. Have you heard anything about the project down by the mill, the Weymouth Road project? How are they coming along with it? I mean, other than what we can see by driving through, they are trying to keep it open for traffic, and they have access to Weymouth Road. But is there any idea of a timeline on that?
That's the Harding Highway
Yes,
project? I do not have any information on
Okay.
that, no.
All right. Yeah, I guess if we could,
Can we get an update on that,
can get an
John?
update, yeah.
I'll
yeah, we could.
contact the county engineer tomorrow and
Good.
Great.
find out where they are.
I have one question about that. After that flash flood type thing, that area became very, very flooded. And I was under the impression that all the stuff that they were doing was to help alleviate the flooding. I'm not sure whether it stayed or whether it percolated, but when I went through it, it was really deep.
They did include some drainage improvements. I'm not sure what the status of those is in terms of construction, in terms of their ability to pick up any water right now until that job's done. It may be bypassing that improvement until after the paving is in.
Oh, okay.
But they did include drainage improvements with this project.
Yeah, it looked like it, and so I was
Hopefully
stunned.
it's, has enough capacity to take
I
care of
don't think so, Kevin. It's going to take more than that. And they haven't blocked off those inlets either. Like normally when they put the sandbags or put the
Yes.
covering around it.
Yes.
Yeah, that area's so loaded on a flash flood like that, you're going to flood in there.
That's been a difficult area. It's always been a
It
difficult
always
area.
has been.
I used to live over there. Yeah.
And we always thought that when they did address that roadway, they'd have to do major, major work there. And obviously, it's become a cost thing.
I don't think it's as major as we would want it to be. I tend to agree.
Anything else?
That's it. Thank you.
Great. Township committee members. Roger, would you like to start?
Yeah, please. I don't know if many of you had the opportunity to look at the press today, but today was the first time in months that I saw as many foreclosure notices of sheriff sales. I think it was over 18 pages. People are concerned. I know there's a concern over trying to hold a line on taxes. We always find ourselves in a very difficult position up here because we only collect out of every dollar that we collect in taxes, we only get 28 cents. The schools obviously get close to 54 cents. The county gets the rest. I think there has to be a good hard look at their budgets in terms of what they can do to help people. I mean, if you notice that there was a good article in the paper today about the population as a result of the Bail Reduction Act was starting to go down in the county. But I think we'll see more people going down in the county if they lose their homes. And I think it's a very difficult times for a lot of people. And I think if you can reach out to any of the people that you know that serve in other levels of government, and if you have any contacts, try to attend some of those meetings, like the school board meetings, and bring it up to them about your concern about it. I'm sure there's ways that everybody can practice due diligence and look at the numbers and try to hold it under control. Otherwise, it's going to be more and more difficult for all of us as we go forward to try to control the finances that we're all too careful about doing in this community. But that, to me, was the worst I've ever seen it, and it's scary. You know, when you read about that, you realize these are people that, if it's in our community, and we had a pretty high rate of foreclosures. I think we were looking at, we had probably over 1,000 units that were on record of the 5,000 of the big 3 or 4 communities. These are people that came here, they wanted to live in our community, and now we lose them as a residents, and that's a scary thing. We need a balance. We need good people in our community, as we have, so I do as much as I can. I know the rest of the committee is always looking at it also. I think we all try to take up the conversation. When you look at the numbers on other budgets, our budgets try to pretty much stay flat out, or generally don't fluctuate more than maybe $100,000 over the last 10 or 11 years from when we started doing this to now. The count is, if you look at the county's budget, it's gone up from 191 million to over 200 million in that time period. Now, there's factors that do that, but by the same token, there's other things they can do too. They've got a big budget to look at, and if you can reach out to any of your freeholders, ask them what they're doing to help us control taxes. I think it'd be a good place to start looking, and as far as that, the schools also. I mean, the problem that I've always had with the schools is not that, it's not the education of our children, because I believe we should have the best schools in the area. My problem is every time I talk to them, and every time they have a problem, their solution is to raise taxes. That's not the answer. There's got to be a better way to go about it and a better way to do it. So that's pretty much it, John. It concerns me greatly.
Great, thanks, Roger. Art?
That's good comments, Roger, but you know, the major driver of this is the fact that businesses ran out of this area as soon as the casinos did, and until that comes back around, the foreclosure rate is going to keep going the way it's going, if not worse. A lot of reasons is that it's so easy to foreclose these days. Years ago, you couldn't do this. But you can walk away and barely mar your credit, where years ago you destroyed it. So, we have a society that lends us to do that. And you also have an area that's been devastated by these casinos and wasteful spending by not just county level, but the state level. All the money, the revenue that was built up by the casinos has been spent where I'm not quite sure. I don't think a lot of it was invested back into Atlantic City. And because of that, we all see what happens. It's not, I'm not making revelations up here. It's until that changes, which, fortunately, being in the construction world, I see some changes in Atlantic City right now. There's a lot of talk of some more projects and some good stuff. I do know the county's trying to push forward some of the stuff out at the FAA, which is going to give us more jobs here, not just in the casino industry, but in the tech industry, which is very important. It's always growing, always moving forward. So I think, looking forward, we have a lot more to look forward to than we do in our rearview mirrors. So, hopefully things will get better, and these foreclosures will stop. I don't think they'll ever go away totally, but, it's not good for anybody, not the tax base or anything. So other than that, I would like to say that I was fortunate enough to attend the Gildas Club Dragon Race, and I'd like to get a team together for next year if anybody's interested. It was a lot of fun. I wasn't involved with it. Our solicitor, Bob, was there, and you were like a little kid. It was great. It was exciting. And to see, do you know how much money they raised through that day?
I don't, but I'm sure it was substantial. I think the fee to get into the race was something like $2,100. It was worth every dime of it. Every member of my law firm rode in the race, except Steve Hankey, and he didn't make it, but I'm sure it was a lot.
Well,
That's good.
they had
They get
37
sponsors too for that,
boats.
Bob?
They did,
So between the sponsors, and how many boats did you say?
37 teams.
37 teams, okay. So there's, Art, that's a substantial number.
Oh, yeah, and it's a great organization. I sat there with my son, and I said, AJ, you know who Gilda Radner is? And he said, no, Dad. I said, okay, fine, never mind. Anyway, it was a great event, and it was really nice to see you there and being part of it, a big part of it. So thank you. John, that's all I have.
Great. Thank you. Rodney?
I think, just let me be a little optimistic also. I think things are going to get better in the future. There are a lot of things that are happening, and hopefully they're going to look up. I think one indication is some of the planning board activities, where at the last planning board, we have a new liquor store that's going to be coming here. That's going to create quite a bit of competition. In fact, the new liquor store will be near McDonald's. And of course, we have another one in Belcoville, which is a quarter mile or a tenth of a mile away. And then we have Victor's not far away either, so we're going to have some competition over there. But there are positive things happening. And I forgot what else I had, so go ahead, that's all I have.
Did you write it down? I'll read it for you.
Yeah, okay. Well, you can't read my writing either, so.
Judy?
I, too, attended the dragon boat races. I had never heard of them before. I went online to see what they were and where they originated from and so on and so forth. And I just could not believe how many cars pulled into that parking lot and parked it out to the nth degree. About the same as the Wine and Food Festival, or maybe Hometown Celebration. Now, I did have to protect my parking lot, but the police helped and redirected people. I understand some people were not wanting to put money into the little donation cup that the gal was holding, and so they were pulling around. But she got on top of that. She wasn't my helper, but she was right there. But at any rate, we all shared, okay? And my son-in-law and daughter were asked to use their speedboat to help out. And I talked to David today, and he said, yeah, one of their boats, conked out, and he was able to tow a couple of the boats, not the paddle boats, but the ones that were involved in the race. I just, felt like, hey, how about the Merchants Association diving into this and doing this race next time? And it was just an unbelievable event. It was unbelievable. And I know that Bob told me they took first in the first 2 heats that he was in.
We did.
And so I was
Not
proud
bad
of
for a
him.
bunch of old lawyers.
I was proud of. So I think what I noticed, I did put flyers about the lighthouse on each one of the, to donate to the recovery of the lighthouse. And I noticed there were a lot of out-of-state people that came for this. So they must have, that's good for us to have people come from out of state and see what we have here. Hopefully they'll be, investing here as well. I think that was one of the things that when we have events at Lenape, if we see people from out of state, then they might say, well, maybe we should invest in a summer home or look at the foreclosures or whatever and start investing. So I'm hopeful. And it was terrific all the way around. So that's it.
Okay, Rodney, something else?
Yeah, I remembered what I wanted to say. At the last Merchants Association meeting, we had a presentation by a software developer who was going to develop an app that would enable people to get information on all the local vendors here. It'd be in one place. It sounded very good. We also talked about the possibility of an application that would have all of the events. You could put the events on there, and all the events, the local events, you'd have an easy place to go and see about it. Well, I noticed in the last email from the Merchants Association, there was a calendar, and I'm wondering if that had anything to do with our meeting. I haven't really had a chance to use it, but it enabled you to take events from multiple calendars and have it in one location so that events that you were interested in would be brought out.
That's correct. We had that happen because of so many different events and people planning things on the same day.
Right.
So we thought that it would be unique to be able to pull that all together and create one calendar. You can create one calendar yourself. Yeah.
Well, I haven't played with it enough, but I'll like to see how useful it'll be. I'm looking forward to that. It was called Up To, for anybody that wants to take a look at it. It's on the Play Store and the Apple equivalent. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And I'd just like to comment, I want to again pay particular attention to our 3 police officers. I want to congratulate Michael Tannum, Eric Thumhart, and Eric DeMeo as our new officers here in town. And I also misstated, it's my glasses, Michael Tannum is a step 7 and Eric DeMeo is a step 1. I believe I said September. That shows you what I'm doing here. But congratulations, and it's really great to have you guys on board. We have a great police department here, a great chief, great command staff, and we're looking forward to you being part of the township. National Night Out, I just wanted to real quick, even though we read the resolution, I was able, the past few years, of course, I've attended that just like all the rest of the committee. It's going to be a great event, and everybody that has an opportunity to get out to the mall that day, it's a great thing to see our police department, the emergency services, and everything else that goes on out there. Our public works department, everybody's involved in this, and we really want to emphasize that if you have the opportunity and the time, get out there on August 1st to a National Night Out. And that's really it. Lastly, I just want to say that I had an opportunity that always pleases me in town of cutting the ribbon at a new business. The business was Planet Fitness. And I want to state that just like I cut the ribbon at Anytime Fitness, which is a competitor, and Home Goods and other locations in town, my roots go back to forming the Merchants Association over 17 years ago. And I'm all about small business and how they can thrive and run and operate in a town. So it pleased me to be able to welcome another business to our community. It looks nice out there, and I think it's going to do well. But it's always a great part of the mayor's job to go out and cut a ribbon. I just wanted to say that that was a nice thing to do. And that's it. Anyone else have any comments? Then we're going to open it up for public comment. Anyone in the public wishes to speak?
Move to close the public portion.
Second.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against? Abstain. 10, adjourn to executive session. Rita?
Be it resolved by the Township Committee of the Township of Hamilton that this meeting be adjourned to an executive session to discuss the following matter, which is exempt from public discussion pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law. Tavistock bond litigation update, litigation and attorney-client privilege. Be it further resolved that the governing body may reconvene in public session and confirm the results of the executive session if there is a majority consensus for action to be taken on the matter tonight.
Thank you, Rita. Can we get a motion to adjourn to executive session?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Adjourn to executive session?
You need a vote.
Rita, could you do a vote?
You don't need a roll call, you just need a vote.
Let's do all in favor, that's fine.
Aye.
Aye. Abstain? Abstentions, okay. Adjourn to executive session.